I have no clue why I'm wearing a knit crop jumper in a weather that is so hot, but anyway, I'm just going to continue on with this video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about kids who are born out of wedlock and how they go through rejection most of their lives, because this is something that I think is not talked about enough. We're in a time where women have a choice to have kids without a man. Women are having kids without getting married. There are many ways a woman can have a child without physically having a man in her life. But what we don't talk about is the implication of all of that for the child in the long run. And what tends to happen is children who are born out of wedlock tend to go through rejection in life a lot. Rejection with relationships, with the people they attract. What in the world is like on my nose that's got me touching it? Sorry about that. So rejection with people who they attract, the places they work, people who they interact with. And a lot of times it stems from family. Now, there are people who are born in a two-parent household and they still go through rejection. But I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on the ones that are born out of wedlock. I'm just going to get water. And the reason why I'm going to focus on the ones born out of wedlock is so that we can understand the implications of what we're doing when you decide that you're going to have kids out of wedlock. Looking at my notes because I don't want to forget what I'm saying in between. Now, me talking to you guys, I was also born out of wedlock as well. So I live with my mom and I live with a stepdad. And I can honestly tell you what it feels like when you are born out of wedlock, because growing up, I've had this spirit of rejection. I've gone through so many rejection. When we're talking about rejection, I'm not just talking about when people tell you no. I'm talking about when people make you feel like you're an outcast, when people make you feel like you don't belong, when people treat you like you're weird, people make you feel like there's something wrong with you, people make you feel like you're odd, people make you feel like you're not fit in, or some people want to make you feel like you're the black sheep in the family. That's what I'm talking about in terms of rejection, because family is a community of people who are blood related, and when you have a family, it's a sign that you belong to a certain community. But a lot of times when kids are born out of wedlock, the first rejection they face is from the family. And when you face it from the family, because growing up as a kid, you're always going to put your family on a pedestal, especially your parents, you're going to put them on a pedestal. But when you start going through a lot of rejection, then you take them off the pedestal and then you move around life like everyone hates you, nobody likes you, nobody talks to you, and then it affects how you even try to be friends with other people. So when we're talking about rejection, that's what I'm talking about. It's not just being told no. Being told no sometimes is good and sometimes is bad. Now, let's talk about the first rejection that a child will go through being born out of wedlock, which is from the family. What tends to happen is when a woman decides to have a child outside of wedlock, and maybe her and the father of the child are no longer communicating, no longer talking, the child is now put in a situation where he only sees one parent, right? So as the child is growing up and the child goes to school, the child will then realize that a lot of people have two parents, which is a man and a woman, or a mom and dad. And then the child will start to ask mom questions. Where's dad? Why do we not have a dad? What's going on? Or it could be the other way around. Where's mom? What's going on? Why is there no mom? Now, if the story is not the fact that one parent is dead, because if the story is one parent is dead, that's completely different to a story where one parent just doesn't want to be there for you. They don't want to see you. They don't want to talk to you. The minute that child is aware of that situation, that child begins to feel rejected. That child in their mind will begin to think, well, what's wrong with me? Why don't that parent want to see me? Why don't they want to talk to me? The child is not thinking about you getting together with the other parent, but the child is just thinking, why is there so much rejection towards me? What's wrong with me that mom or dad doesn't want to be in my life? Okay, so that's the first experience of rejection that a child will face. And I've noticed that some mothers, they don't actually tell their child what happened to their dad. They just tell their child that, oh, your dad's in another country, and when the time is right, you get to see that, because they don't want to make that child feel like somebody rejected you or somebody didn't want you. Because once you feel rejection, you begin to feel like you begin to feel left out. You begin to feel like something is wrong with you, right? So once the child has experienced the first rejection, which is understanding that one parent has refused to be in their life, then they grow up in a household with just either a mom or dad, with just one single parent. When that one single parent decides to remarry, and Lord help you, if they remarry and the person they got married to is someone that don't like kids, it's someone that probably has his own kids, or someone that doesn't even like your own child, that's another rejection that they're going to go through in that family setting. And the problem with this one is really tricky, because if, let's say for example, a single mother decides to remarry and the spouse is someone that doesn't like the kids, because you're so in love, you won't get to see a lot of the red flags. Because when you're out and about, doing your own thing and things are happening behind closed doors, you won't be able to see it quickly. So a lot of damage would have been done before you realize, unless if you're spiritual and you're dreaming and God is communicating to you. To be honest, if God is communicating to you, you shouldn't even end up with the wrong one at that point. But that's the second level of rejection. And that one hits deep, because I have never ever heard of a single mom divorcing their own husbands because their husband doesn't like their child. It's usually never that situation. It's never that situation. And because a lot of times when single moms do get married, they remarry from an energy of pick me, choose me, from an energy of desperate, from an energy of, oh, society doesn't deem me valuable because I'm a single mom. So when you remarry from that energy, when you remarry from that mindset, you end up getting with the wrong one, because the person you get with will know at the back of their head that it seems like she doesn't know her value, so I could do whatever and say whatever in the house. And if you've given your spouse so much permission to discipline that child that doesn't belong to them, then that child will still feel that rejection, because the child knows at the back of their head that this is not my biological parent. Okay, unless if that child is grown, in a place where the child no longer depends on you for money, like they're grown, they're adult, then it's completely different. Now, when they have experienced these rejection, as they get older, they start to get in a relationship with people that don't like them. Why is that? Because the spirit of rejection, when you've gone through rejection within the family setting, it becomes familiar to you that you attract people who deep down won't like you, because it's now the thing is familiar. So it's familiar, but it's disguised in a way that you won't know that the person doesn't like you. So for instance, if a girl was going through the spirit of rejection, born out of wedlock, got into a family where she's treated as an outcast, she's treated like she doesn't belong. As she gets older, right, she comes across a guy who's probably flirtatious with her. She finds the guy attractive. The guy is, playing his A game to make sure that he gets with her. Then when they both decide that, okay, they're going to get in a relationship, the guy starts doing things that is familiar to what a family member would do. Okay? And she would see it as, oh, that's norm. All of them are like that because that's what she sees in her family, right? And she would think that's norm. All of them are like that. And she won't realize that deep down, he's behaving like that because he don't like you. The people who have made you feel like the people who've made you feel rejected are the people that don't like you. So if you grew up in a household where you realize that dad no longer wanted to be in your life anymore, it's because they don't like you. Forget about the excuse of why. It's usually because they don't like you. Because once you figure it out, you notice that they don't do anything to look for you or to pursue you or to try and get you back into their life. That's how you know that they don't like you. So what will happen is you would get in a relationship and the guy would do everything to make you feel like he likes you, like he needs you in his life. And once you get with him, then there's going to be little behavior that is going to be familiar to you because you've seen it in your household, but you're going to endure it thinking that, oh, this is how they are, but deep down it's because he don't like you. And that's how people with spirit of rejection, they attract the wrong people again, because a lot of times they don't even know that the spirit of rejection is in them. The reason why we call it a spirit is because that spirit of rejection will always talk to your, like, it will always, it's a little voice that will tell you you're not good enough, you're not doing enough, look at how that person treated you, look at how this person treated you, something is wrong with you, you're the main domain, everybody else is treating you like that because there's something wrong with you. It's a voice that speaks to you. So that's why we call it a spirit of rejection, even in the work environment, right? Another thing is when you go to work, we all know that we go to work to get the job done, not to make friends, but at the same time, it's good to socialize and get to know people in work. When you have the spirit of rejection, or you're someone who has been rejected, a couple of times within the family setting, when you go to work, you will begin to look for approval from people that don't like you. You would intentionally get yourself into environments that deep down it seems like the people here don't like you, but you're willing to endure it, you're willing to go through it because it's something you're familiar with. It's something you're familiar with. So you're just like, oh, whatever. If they don't like me, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But deep down, it's not making you happy. Deep down, it's causing mental stress. Deep down, you don't feel good. You don't feel. Let me tell you something, right? I've gone through what I'm telling you. I was working for a particular department, and my supervisor at the time, she was a woman. So I knew before I got that role, because it was like an internal promotion. And so I've been seeing that supervisor for quite some time. And before I was moved to that department, I was observing that department from far for some time. And so I had this supervisor who I knew deep down that she didn't like me. I knew that. She didn't say anything to me. Before I moved to that department, we've never spoke. She's never said anything to me. When I walk past her, she doesn't say anything, nothing. But I knew from, my intuition is high, okay? I just knew deep down that she would not like me. But I didn't care because I just said to myself that, look, at the end of the day, just get the job done and go home. That's all you have to do. That's what's on the contract. So I got I got promoted to move to that department. I went to that department. And when I started in that department, she would, like, she didn't say anything bad, But what I noticed was that whenever I walk up to her to ask her something, I would say, "Oh, sorry, can you help me with oh, sorry, can you, oh, sorry, do you know the answer to, oh, sorry. And one day I said to myself, why do I keep saying sorry? Because I'm supposed to ask her. It's her job to give me the answers because she's my supervisor. I'm supposed to ask her those questions. Why do I keep saying sorry, sorry to ask her a question? And for the longest of time, I didn't know why I kept saying it, because for other people, for other team leaders or supervisors I've had in the past, I've never said that. Oh, sorry, can you help me? Oh, sorry. Unless if I feel like I'm bothering you, then it will automatically just pop out of my mouth. So it kept going on for some time with this particular supervisor until one day I needed to get information from her. And when I was about to, like, she was there just typing away. And when I was about to ask her a question, she just gave me a very dirty look. A very dirty look. A look of, what do you want? Why are you still here? We don't want you here. Don't you get it? The look was so bad. When I saw that look, I then realized why I'm automatically saying sorry, sorry, sorry to ask a question that would be beneficial to the team, to the work, to whatever it is that I'm doing. Now, because I was observing this department before I got into that department, if I healed from the whole rejection thing, I wouldn't have gone ahead with that department in the first place. I wouldn't have. Because like I said before, I was observing the team for some time. And I knew before joining that team that she didn't like me. And so I knew that I wouldn't really click with a lot of people in that team. So the question I had to ask myself was, why did I go ahead with it? Why did I go ahead with it? Was it because of money, or was it just from a place of desperation? And so I say this because when you have that spirit of rejection, or you're always constantly feeling rejected by people, it's going to affect every single department of your life until it is dealt with. Until it is dealt with. And so eventually, after a couple of months, that particular supervisor found her way to take me out of the team. And when that happened, to be honest with you, I wasn't even sad about it. I was happy it happened, because I could not deal with being surrounded by people that I know deep down they don't want me on their team. They don't want me there. And if they don't want you there, they'll never appreciate you. And remember, not appreciating you stem from where? Your family that rejected you. So do you see how when you have this spirit of rejection, there comes this familiar behavior where, oh, you're familiar with people not appreciating you. You're familiar with people not complimenting you. You're familiar with people not telling you I love you. You're familiar with people making you feel like you're odd. You're familiar with people making you feel like you're an outcast. So when you go out there and you get in a relationship, get friends, get into a department, go for house hunting, then what will happen is you're going to be, when you come across someone who's acting funny, who's talking down on you, you're just like, oh, I'm used to that. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to go ahead with it. And it's wrong. It's wrong. You should not ever endure that. Never. This is something I've had to learn the hard way. Let me give you another example. I think a year or two ago, I was looking at new apartments, and I came across this apartment that was so beautiful. Very, very beautiful apartment. It was my dream apartment. I loved it so much. And so when I got there, they gave me an appointment. I got there 10 minutes before the time. When I got in there, the person that was supposed to walk me around the apartment was like 15 minutes late. Okay. For me, I felt like I was a bit annoyed with that, but you know what? It's cool. Life happens. Let's move on. So she started it was a he started touring me around the apartment. We got up to the one that I won, right? He opened the door and he got in. And the man just sat down and he left me alone in the apartment. So I'm thinking, like, aren't you supposed to show me around the apartment? Like, show me what's in the bathroom. What does this do? Like, you know how they do it when you do a house tour and they're telling you all the good things about the house because they're trying to sell the house to you. They're trying to make you change your mind to buy the house. This dude, he just sat in front of his computer and he just left me there on my own. So I decided to just, look around myself and see how I like it and embrace it. Then when I was done looking around, I sat in front of him, waiting for him to finish what he was doing. When I sat in front of him, the guy just looked away like this on his computer and just typing. And I'm sitting there waiting for him to acknowledge the fact that I'm done looking around. What's the next step? No. Instead, he's just on the computer typing away. So I said, excuse me, is there, like, I'm done looking around. Like, can we proceed now? And as I'm talking to him, he's not looking at my face. He's looking at the computer, not looking at my face, acting like I'm not there. I walked out and I just thought to myself, what is this? Like, what is this? This is supposed to be a house tour. And you know what? That apartment was my dream. Oh my God. I've not come across an apartment. I mean, that time, that was as good as that, as of that time. I'm sure there's better ones now. And I said to myself, right, if, let's say I got approved to stay in this apartment, right? Imagine I got approved to stay in this apartment, which means, it would be on a loan, on a mortgage, which obviously means that I would have to interact with this particular guy, right? Because when you get a mortgage or you get a loan with a company, you're pretty much in a relationship with that company for the duration of that loan. Right? Because any problems you have with that loan, you have to call the company. Any issues you have with your direct debit payments, you have to call the company. Same for the company as well. So if I'm seeing you for the first time and this is how you're behaving, and if I had to get a mortgage with you on this property, if something goes wrong and you're not acknowledging my presence, you're pretending like I'm not there, you're ignoring me, and all this thing that he was doing, it was familiar to me because I've experienced it firsthand home in the family. And I just thought, is this what I have to endure for the next 25 or how many years for the duration of this mortgage? I said, no. I can't do that. Deal with somebody like that for 25 years of this mortgage. Obviously, I won't be in that apartment for 25 years, but for however long I decide to stay in that apartment, that would be so frustrating. I would be calling him, he won't pick up the call. I'll be telling him how serious this thing is, he won't take me seriously. Because the first time I've seen him, his actions has made it clear to me that I don't want you here. I don't care about you buying this apartment. I don't even want you to buy this apartment, because if you wanted me to buy this apartment, you would have do a little mini tour around this apartment and advertise it to me like this apartment is the best thing since sliced bread. But you didn't even do that. You just sat in front of the computer and acted like I wasn't even there. But because I've done the healing with, the spirit of rejection and all that kind of stuff, I just had to let it go and not even proceed with that, and just made up my mind that, you know what, there's something better out there for me. And you might think, oh, but Dami, that's just like, they don't, like, you might think that, oh, but at the end of the day, just get your apartment and ignore that behavior. You can't ignore that behavior, because like I said before, when you get a loan or a mortgage on any product or any property, you're in a relationship with that company for the duration of that loan or that mortgage. So, which means we have to talk from time to time. We have to communicate from time to time. I can no longer, I'm at a point in my life where I can no longer deal with people that don't like me. I don't have the patience for it anymore. And that's where you need to get to. Because if not, you're going to continue enduring things that will hurt you in the long run. If this spirit of rejection is not dealt with, you're going to start dealing with things that will hurt you in the long run. And that is why I'm doing this video, so that we overcome this and we can move forward and start embracing environments that are happy to see us. And you might be surprised, but I'm telling you now, once I did the inner work and decided that, look, and this was the same policy I applied when I was about to finance a car. So when I was on my way to buying a new car, brand new car, I went to Mercedes first, okay, because I found one that I like in Mercedes, and I thought, okay, let me go down and see it in the showroom. I got there, and I didn't get welcomed, to be honest. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, you guys are happy that I'm here to buy a product, okay? I didn't get that energy. I didn't get that feeling. I didn't, I sat down. They spoke to me about, financing it and all the stuff to it. And I just didn't feel like they were happy to see me. Okay, you might think, oh, who do you think you are? Like, nobody has to be happy to see you, blah, blah, blah. But that's where you're getting it wrong. So when I decided not to go ahead with Mercedes, I found another car that I really love in Audi. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm going down to the showroom and I'll go check it out in Audi. As soon as I stepped into the Audi showroom, as soon as I walked in, oh my God, the welcome that I got in that company, they felt so good that I was there. They felt like, oh my gosh, she's here. She's here to buy our product. She's here to get a loan on one of our car. The welcome that I got, the way they treated me, the way they made me feel like, we're happy to see you here. And when they decided to get someone, an executive, to talk me through the car and all that kind of stuff, the guy did his job so well that he made me feel like, look, we are ready to help you get the car. And even when I had some little complications with financing the car, the man was willing to go all out for me to make sure that I get the car. He was more like eager for me to get the car than I was for myself. That's the type of people you need to surround yourself with. And you can only do that when you have decided to no longer deal with people that don't like you. Now, I got that experience from Audi, right? Somebody else might walk into Audi and not get that experience, because maybe for you, you're just not destined to get whatever it is that you want to get from there. It might be Mercedes, right? But for Mercedes, I didn't feel that. And I said no. Because again, if you're getting a finance or a mortgage on anything, you're in a relationship with that thing. And I had better be happy. I better be happy to be in that relationship with you. I cannot be frustrated, sad, and angry. And I'm here paying a huge amount of money every single month, but it's frustrating and it's pissing me off having to communicate with you, trying to reach you, trying to chase you over a property that I bought from you. No, that's not what you want. So when you deal with this rejection thing, when you deal with the spirit of rejection, you're going to start being very, very picky on who gets to chill with you, who you're going to chill with, where you're going to go, where you're not going to go. And I apply this in everything, even like going on holidays, going to shops, okay? If I walk into your restaurant and I'm standing there and you're acting like you didn't see me, I'm out. Because it's not just that, it's the behavior will progress. When you sit down, you have a problem, you have to chase them to help you. When your bill ain't right, you have to chase them. The moment you get the impression that you're no longer needed here, that's the day that you're going to start doing all the chasing. Okay, so let's talk about how to overcome the spirit of rejection and how to let it go. Okay, so the first step is to not get close to people who don't like you. Now, this one, you have to be someone who's very attentive to get the signs when someone doesn't like you. And you would usually get the sign from day one. From the first time you interact with someone, the very first time you interact with someone is the biggest giveaway whether this person is happy to see you or be around you or not. From the first time. Even from the hi, nice to meet you. The tone, how it's said, how they look. I remember years ago, right? I got a job, right? And the first, they told me to come in, your first day of induction. And I was told to come in, and I came in and I dressed, professionally, because it was a front office job in a hotel. And so the manager wasn't in, the supervisor was in. The first day that supervisor looked at me, she looked at me like that. She looked at me with disgust. With disgust. I could not understand, because I had a perfume that smelled nice. And at the time, I didn't have much money to buy like a corporate outfit, but I made it work with black jeans and a shirt, right? So I didn't have, I wasn't dressed all extra because I didn't have much. I was broke before I got the job, but I put it together to make it look good. And the shoes that I wore that day, they weren't the best in the world, but it was fit to do what it was supposed to do for that day. But she looked at me with disgust. It was as if I was disgusting to look at. And I could not understand. Because normally when I go out, I always make sure that I look put together. No matter what I'm going through in life, I always make sure that I look put together all the time. So when she looked at me like that, I had to look at myself like, did I stain my clothes? Or is my lipstick on my teeth? Why are you looking at me like that? But I just ignored it, because I just got a job and I've got debt that I need to pay off. So I didn't focus on it. I continued on with the job. And even though me and her would talk, she never liked being around me. There were times she would give me look. She would make little sneaky comments, try to make it sound like it's funny when it wasn't. It never changed. So when I tell you that from day one, the moment you talk to someone, from the first day, you will know deep down whether this is something that could go on for long or not. You will know whether you two are going to get along or not, or whether this person is going to like you or not from the first day. Energy don't lie. You can tell me anything you want to tell me. I'm going to read your body language. I'm going to literally read that energy, and I will know. I will know. You don't need to tell me that, oh, Dami, I've changed. You don't need to tell me you've changed. I will know from your body language, the way you talk, the way you are around me. I will know. So the signs are very, very subtle. Don't stay too close to people who don't like you. Now, some of you might be like, oh, but I've got family members who don't like me and I have to live with them. How do I avoid that? In that situation, you don't share your emotions with such people. Never ever share your emotions to people who don't like you. In that situation, you keep things at arm's length. Okay, when it comes to set your celebrations, your wins, you don't share it. Celebrate yourself, learn to take yourself out, do all those kind of things. in that environment, because you can't throw them away. They're your people, they're your blood related people. You can't throw them away, but you just learn to keep things at a distance. Okay, the next one is don't look down on yourself because of what people think of you. This is something that I struggled with for years, because I was born out of wedlock, and I interacted with people who just always made me feel like I wasn't good enough, always made me feel like I'm not doing enough, always made me feel like I'm not smart. You know, one particular family member made a comment that I can never ever forget. When I gave birth, this, as my child was growing, and my child is, you know, he's smart. As he was growing, the particular family member said, "Oh, this child is so smart, but I'm pretty sure he got it from his dad. He definitely didn't get it from Dammy." That statement was like a slap across my face. A huge slap across my face. Till this day, I can never forget it. And this individual, I don't get close to at all. I don't get close to at all. At all, at all, at all. When I heard that statement, I was like, wow. Wow. I couldn't believe it. So what happens is, usually when you hear things like that, it gets to you, because words are deep. I can slap you across the face right now, physically slap you across the face, and after like 2 weeks you might just forget about it, right? I could like punch you, and after like a month or something you might get over it. But words is something that it goes deep into the soul. It's not even surface level. Words is something that it will forever be in your brain for years. Whereas a slap, after like 1 year or something, sometimes you don't even remember it. It's just like whatever. But words are deep. They're deep. And so because they're so deep, when you're constantly being talked to like someone who's stupid, and people are saying all this insultive words towards you, it makes you look down on yourself, and it doesn't allow you to thrive for more, because you think, am I really capable? Am I not capable? Can I do it? Can I not do it? And you know deep down you are capable of more, but you just need to talk to yourself a lot more, and talk yourself and let yourself know that, look, if I've managed to survive all of this, and I've managed to achieve all of this right to where we are today, then clearly I'm more than what people think I am. And then the next one is to love yourself. People who go through rejection, when they have the spirit of rejection, the biggest sign is that they don't love themselves. And a lot of times when people hear this, people don't know how to love themselves. People don't even know what it means to love themselves. And do you know what? Growing up, I was never told to love myself. I was never told to love myself. I didn't even know what that was. But I didn't realize that on a subconscious level, I was actually doing it. I didn't realize I was doing it. So what happened was, growing up, I've never really felt loved growing up, to be honest. And so I've always felt like odd, outcast. Even in friendship, there's always a problem. I get along with dudes more than I do with women. And so it got to a point where I didn't have anyone to celebrate my wins with. I didn't have anyone I could talk to celebrate my wins, because I would know deep down that this person is not for me. You don't like me like that. That's like including family. And so I just said to myself, you know what? What is stopping me from celebrating me? What's stopping me from going out there and enjoy me? What's stopping me from going out there and buy stuff for me? And I said, what exactly is stopping me from doing that? And so from that day on, I would go shopping by myself. I would go on holiday by myself. I traveled by myself. I went on a solo holiday to Dubai. I went on a solo holiday to Santorini. On my birthday, I would buy gifts for myself. And I don't just buy anything. I buy what I like. Even if it's expensive, I would buy what I like, what I love. I don't have anything that I don't like. The last time I bought something that I don't like, it was taken away, which was God trying to tell me, why are you buying what you don't like? I don't do that. I treat myself to the fullest. And when there is a win in my life that I need to celebrate, I take myself out. I dress myself up and I take myself out. And that is how you love on yourself. You look after you, hygiene wise, the outfits that you wear, buy outfits that you like. When you're going through rejection, sometimes you tend to buy clothes that just make people not want to get close to you, because the way it looks on you, it makes you look like you're poor and homeless. Why are you doing that? Go and buy what you like. Buy what complements your figure. Buy what complements your shape. Don't be afraid of people complimenting you. I didn't realize that some women don't know how to embrace compliments. They don't know how to embrace compliments. They don't know how to receive compliments. But when they come across a woman who constantly get it all the time, then they get pissed and they get jealous about it. You have to learn to put yourself out there. Wear what looks good on you. Be okay with people telling you, you look good today. That outfit looks nice on you. Oh my gosh, you got nice skin. I was working with a lady many years ago. This lady had beautiful skin. Oh my God. She was an Asian woman. She had beautiful skin. And she was in her 40s. I was like, whoa. And I told her one day, I said, look, your skin is beautiful. And she just looked at me like I was a weirdo. I'm like, is it wrong to give you a compliment? Like, have you not received that compliment before? I'm pretty sure you've heard the compliment before. I can't be the first one who's told you that, because your skin is like 100% on point. And she just didn't know how to embrace the compliment. I don't think she's ever heard it before. She doesn't know how to embrace the compliment. So this was how I started loving myself, because every time I bought what I liked, I just loved me. When I eat food that I cook that I like, I fell in love with me. When I go out on holiday and I don't have to consider anyone, I could, do what I want to do on holiday. I loved me. It's funny, but that's how it works. Okay, you have to look after you and feed you and buy what you like and invest in you. The more you invest in yourself, the more you love yourself. And also loving God as well helps, because the more you love God and you put him first and you have a relationship with him, he then allows you to focus on you. Right? And I've experienced this in the past. Before I took fitness and health seriously, when I was, eating a whole bunch of rubbish and having some health issues in the past, there was a time where God just told me in a dream that you need to work on your health. Okay. You can't continue like this. You need to work on your health. There are times where God would tell me, don't eat this, eat that, don't drink this, drink that, don't go to this place, go to that place. With God on your side, there's protection. There's extra protection. Because when I tell people, oh, I go on solo holiday, people are like, are you not bored? Aren't you scared? What about your safety? No, God's got me. I can't be scared, But at the same time, no, I don't get. What I even find is that when I go to all these places on my own, people are not afraid to walk up to me and talk to me. People are not afraid because I'm on my own. So they feel free to talk to me. And guess what? I don't know them. They don't know me. They won't see me again. And that's it. That's the end of that. So in order to overcome the spirit of rejection, loving yourself is going to be a big, big, big key. Now this video has gone in another direction that I didn't really plan. I was in the beginning, I was talking about rejection in terms of having kids out of wedlock and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of in a way moved to another direction for people who are actually currently going through it. And there are a lot of single moms who are going through rejection. When I got pregnant at 16, I went through a huge level of rejection. I felt like I was on my own in this planet called Earth because there was no one to talk to about it. Nobody wanted to know how I felt. Nobody understood the problems that I was having. And it was in an African household, which was like a taboo to get pregnant at such a young age. And so I've really dealt with a lot of rejection. I know what it feels like. It really makes you feel like shit. It makes you feel like you're useless, you're worthless, you're nobody. But if you follow my steps and follow my advice, you will fall in love with yourself again. And please make sure that you do try to have a relationship with God. That is it for this video, and I will speak to you all next time. Bye.